Hey everyone, it's Jennifer from Perfectly Balanced Co. Right now we are moving through a transit where the sun is activating Gate 36 and the earth is holding us in the grounding energy of Gate 6. This combination creates a really interesting emotional landscape. Gate 36 is the energy of experience, emotional intensity, and courage to move through the unknown. It is the energy that says life is meant to be lived even when things feel messy, uncertain, or deeply emotional. Gate 6, on the other hand, is the gate of emotional boundaries and intimacy. It teaches us when to open, when to hold back, and how emotional clarity shapes the connections we create with others. Together, these two gates often bring up moments where we are learning through real-life experiences, relationships, and emotional honesty. And one of the things I love about human design is that it isn't just theory, it's lived experience. So instead of only talking about what these gates mean conceptually, I invited two people who actually carry these energies strongly in their charts to share their real life experiences. Each one of them has lived with these gates shaping their life in different ways. Through their stories, you'll hear how the themes of emotional experience, boundaries, intimacy, and transformation show up in real relationships, careers, and life decisions. The goal of these conversations is not to define these gates in a rigid way. It's to let you feel how these energies move through real human lives. Because when we understand that these archetypes are lived through people just like us, human design becomes something much more powerful. So as you listen, notice what resonates for you. You might hear parts of your own experience reflected back. You might recognize someone in your life who carries this energy. Or you might simply gain a deeper understanding of the emotional themes that are moving through the collective right now. So let's begin. Today, my interview is with Moneca. She has a 36-6 in her sun and 6.6 in her earth personality.
I had my first concussion at age 7.
Mm.
And so every day has been a reset for me because now I'm 65 years old and I've had 15 concussions.
Mm.
And some of them are really book-worthy experiences
Yeah.
that doesn't gel with the status quo.
Yeah.
The status quo wants us into a box,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you have to go, I'm smarter than the box.
Yeah. 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 Like my
And
life experience has taught me something that you can't change. Like,
reality surmounts any delusion that you're making as rules for all of us when it doesn't really fit my agenda. My
yes.
agenda is my life and my
Yes.
senses. And I became a shiatsu therapist in 1997, which is studying chi.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my own machine. It's a quantum biofeedback machine that looks at frequency.
Oh, yeah.
And through my life, I've had to manage my own body.
Mm-hmm.
So the body map really made sense to me because I have been studying organs and function for 30 years as a professional body worker.
Yeah.
So every time I hit my head, though, I have to reset to zero
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know what that accident that hit your head is going to do to your brain. And so you have to go, well, do I still have a brain?
Yeah.
And if I don't have a brain, where am I sensing this lifetime from?
Mm-hmm.
What can I trust? I definitely can't trust outside of myself. I have to go into my inner space and figure it out because
Yeah.
I have to work with my vehicle until the day I die.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very proud of how my body accumulates information. And
Yeah.
I'm so grateful actually that um, I have all these technologies that keep me learning about how to move in the world, especially astrology. I started in 2015. I study cosmic weather.
Mm-hmm.
I've been fixated on earthquakes since my mother died in 2015. Because once my mother died, I could study anything I want.
You wanted, yeah.
I didn't have to bring it home to make them understand. In fact, in 2015, I just stopped caring about bringing it into someone else's life. I had to just study for my own life.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
And
Yeah,
I am a 6-2 emotional generator.
yeah.
That's as much as I understand, because as I say, I'm a beginner at human
Mm-hmm.
design. And I know how I study life. I study life from a 7-year-old point of view of I just damaged my brain. And I
Mm-hmm.
cannot put any more information in my brain as a lump. I have to filter through it, and I have to bring it back to my body and say, hey, how does this feel to you? Is it
Mm-hmm.
reality or is it not reality?
So, right from the beginning, Monica shared with us some of the crisis and chaotic experiences that she's had in her life that are still ongoing. Um, Multiple concussions that are teaching her how to be herself and supporting her in setting up good, healthy boundaries to be able to listen inside.
It's funny because I turned carnivore as Pluto was going into 36 2 years
Yeah.
ago. And
Yeah.
my life has changed 360 degrees since then. No,
Yeah.
okay, not 180 degrees since then. Because for me, I've lived 63 years eating as a sad vegetarian.
Mm,
And I had to completely let that go because I had bad hemorrhoids for 3 years, every single day bleeding. And then
mm,
as soon as I turned carnivore, which is really hard. I mean, you've been programmed to eat
yeah.
vegetables your whole life by your culture. I was born Chinese, and we always had a garden in the back, so always greens all the time and lots of rice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Minimum meat. And then I went into my restaurant times at 20, and I drank my face off. So again, more and more sugar into my diet. That
Mm-hmm.
that was actually, allowed by society. We
Mm-hmm.
want you to initiate into the alcohol culture, and we're going to make it
Yes.
fun and beautiful, and you're going to be
Yeah.
one of the you know in crowd if you just had a drink in your hand. And so I
Mm-hmm.
followed that, and then of course it didn't agree with my body. I mean, I turned into a raccoon. I would have red splotches
Mm-hmm.
on my face. I'd have to cover it up with makeup
Mm-hmm.
just so that I wouldn't feel embarrassed, but really I was just feeling sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 27 years old, and I turned vegetarian because I said, well, I want to look like those beautiful people. So I
Mm.
again took myself out of my own innate
Choice.
instincts
Yeah.
and copied outside of myself
Yeah.
for 20 years. Because I just kept on running into all these beautiful people that were all vegetarians. I mean, I was a ski bum for for most of my on the roof because I'm a 6'2".
Yes.
So I'm a 6'2", and most of my 30s and 40s was basically being a ski mom, or a, like jumping off of cornices into deep powder. That's what I did, smoking lots and lots of pot.
Yeah.
So for me, I fixated on food as my life path.
So here, Monica goes into her experience in life, really showing her sensitivity to her own needs when it comes to nourishment and survival. So the thing about our personality, sun and earth, is it's usually leading us to understand the different aspects of ourselves in our chart. And for her, she's talking about her gate 19, where her understanding of what sustains her becomes very apparent over time. The experiences themselves are coming from the gate 36, and it's supporting her and the rest of her design to kind of understand who she is and what she needs.
So I really spent my 30s to 40s having to explore my fluid body, my blood body, my
Mm-hmm.
muscle and bone body. And
Mm-hmm.
I really deep dived into it because I realized, okay, do I choose a life of pain and suffering, or do I choose a life of solutions, of
Mm-hmm.
cures?
Mm-hmm.
And fortunate for me, I knew my learning was impaired. So I had to take my anatomy, physiology 5 different separate times
Mm-hmm.
because I really couldn't retain all that information
Mm-hmm.
through all the 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 crisis that I
Yes.
created in my first 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it took those 20 years of figuring out my body, and I had 20 years of 10,000 hours of palpating bodies to work off of.
Mm-hmm.
They would come through the door and I would, eyeball them, and then I would plan my work on
Mm-hmm.
them, and I was paid really well for that during the time that I was working on them, because I never chose a a situation where I wasn't aware of the affluency of the person I'm working on. They had to have the money to
Mm-hmm.
pay me to get the information out of me into them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I put myself into spas, and I put myself into private clients, and so word of mouth. So I by the end of it, I really had a good pattern of people coming to see me just so that I could work on them, even though I was kind of out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about resonance healing, and
Yeah.
how the weather affects you, and how skis are tuned, and
Yeah.
whatever I felt like talking about, I talk, and they would put up with it.
Mm.
Like most massage people want silence.
Yes.
They want you to just, you know, put the oil on them,
Mm-hmm.
smear it around, and
Mm-hmm.
that's their price point, right?
Yeah.
Me, I had to have clients that would put up with me.
So here, Monica talks about the boundaries that she needed in order to work with certain people, and that they needed to be willing to be able to put up with her in order to get the help and the support and the magic that she brings into the world. And that is a very sixth gate thing to say. So, if you had to tell somebody who's going through an emotional crisis, like you have done so many times, what do you wish somebody would have told you in the moment to help you move through it?
The wave will pass, and something better will show up.
Mm-hmm.
I find that the sugar really did a number on me, where the wave just kept on continuing and continuing. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, the elimination of sugar out of my diet has really given me the peace and the satisfaction that I've always craved my whole life.
As we close out this conversation, take a moment to notice what stood out for you. Gate 36 and Gate 6 together remind us that some of the most meaningful growth in our lives comes through experience, not through having everything figured out ahead of time. but through moving through moments that ask us to feel deeply, to learn about our boundaries, and to understand what intimacy and emotional truth really mean for us. What you heard today is just one lived expression of this archetype. Every person carries these energies in their own unique way, shaped by their chart, their environment, and the experiences that they've moved through. So if something in this conversation resonated with you, that may be an invitation to get curious about your own design, to notice where your emotional experiences have shaped you, where your boundaries have taught you something, and where life may be asking you to step into the unknown with a little more awareness. Thank you for being here and for exploring these energies with us. If you'd like to continue learning about how daily transit interacts with your own human design chart, you're always welcome to join us inside the Perfectly Balanced community. We explore these energies together every day, looking at how they show up in real life and how we can work with them in supportive and practical ways. Until next time, take care of yourself and stay curious about the energy moving through your life.